Hey guys, it's Mika from Multiple Geek Review. Today we're going to be talking about Cersei Lannister and her quick fall from power. Now, to start this off, I wanted to discuss Maggie the Frog's prophecy, because I believe this is the key to our Mad Queen's demise. Now, when young and foolish Cersei barges into Maggie's home, demanding to know her future, little does she know what she's truly asking for. Will I marry the prince? She asks. Never. You will wed the king. Now, no mystery as to who she is talking about. The king is none other than Robert Baratheon. I will be queen, though. Aye, queen you shall be, until there comes another, younger and more beautiful, to cast you down and take all you hold dear. All right, here's where we get a little tricky. Now, there are 3 possible ladies that could be this queen in the show. However, in the books, there are 4. In the show, the ladies are Marjorie, Daenerys, or Sansa. In the books, the 4th lady is Cersei's daughter, Myrcella. Now, Marjorie and Daenerys are the obvious choice to become this queen to supplant the Lady of Lannister. However, I don't believe either of these lovely ladies are the queen from the prophecy. They're just too obvious of choices, and George R. R. Martin is many things, but obvious is not one of them. Marjorie was originally supposed to supplant Cersei early on in the books. Renly was suggested to many that they bring the doe-eyed Rose to the court so that Robert could put Cersei aside. This, however, never happened because of Robert's eventual death. Now, Myrcella? That would make some kind of cosmic sense, in the way that Cersei would never see it coming. But I believe, in my opinion, this queen who will cast Cersei down and take everything that she holds dear is Sansa. Now, why Sansa, you ask? Because the wolves will come again. Sansa was the original betrothed to King Joffrey and his favorite victim. The Lannisters beat, humiliated, and debased Sansa in every way possible. They conspired to kill her father, mother, and eldest brother. It just makes sense that Cersei's victim be the one who pulls the figurative rug from under her and takes everything. Especially when considering Cersei thought Sansa to be a simpleton who had no brain or clue on how to play the game. Can we say poetic justice, anyone? The person who Cersei believes to have complete control over will be her demise, because she will underestimate Sansa at every turn. Now, there's a little more to this theory, but I want to get into that a little later. Continuing with Maggie's prophecy. Will the king and I have children? Oh, aye, 6 and 10 for him, and 3 for you. Gold shall be their crowns, and gold their shrouds. And when your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands about your white throat and choke the life from you. Now, here's where we come into speculation land. Please, come and join me. Most people believe the golden crowns to mean each one of her children will become king or queen and then die. Now, this makes some sort of sense, but I believe there's another. I believe that she's talking about golden crowns. Maggie is seeing each child with golden hair due to the twincest. Cersei's children will then die due to their golden crown. The problem with prophecy is it cannot always be taken literally. If you do, then you're missing what's really being said. Let's look at Melisandre for a second. When she asks the Lord of Light to give her a sign of who Azor Ahai is, she looks into the flames and is presented with a vision of snow. This greatly confuses her because she takes the meaning literally. We as readers, however, see that what's talking about is the surname Snow, as in Jon Snow. By looking at the deeper meaning, we are able to see the true meaning of prophecy. The same must be applied to Maggie's vision. Back to Cersei. With Maggie's words rolling through Cersei's head, she unknowingly self-fulfills the prophecy. By sleeping with her brother and having children with him, she has ensured her children has golden crowns, and through her mechanisms of keeping this secret, has created mortal enemies who come after her family, and her children's lives. Some examples, you say? All right. Bran catches Cersei with Jaime and is thrown out of the tower, and Joffrey sends an assassin to kill the boy, causing the war between the Starks and the Lannisters. Killing King Robert, arresting Ned, and then having him falsely confess, where he has his head chopped off, which, starts the Battle of the Five Kings. And then Robert's bastards in King's Landing are killed by the ruling family, making enemies of the small folk. I mean, people, the list just continues. That's the thing. As clever as Cersei thinks she is, she does not see the bigger picture, only what is in front of her. Her father said it best. My problem with you, dear daughter, is not with your sex, but you're not as smart as you think you are. She has some small cunning, but when it comes to the long game, she has proved to be a horrible player. Look at her mistake of arming the Faith Militant, completely ignoring the troubles the Crown has had with them in the past, while ignoring the fact that Cersei herself is the biggest sinner in King's Landing. And, let's face it, with Lancel being in the Sparrows, many of her secrets can easily be revealed. No. Instead, she arms the Faith and nudges their attention onto Marjorie, so that she can then try and stop the young queen's influence on her son. Okay, this rant has gone on long enough. Back to the prophecy. Right now, Cersei has been the direct cause of her children's deaths. Not only because due to her twincest with Jaime, her children have golden crowns. If Cersei had been a better mother to her firstborn, and not said things to him like, the truth is what you make it, anyone who isn't us is an enemy, and the only way to keep your people loyal is to make sure they fear you more than they do the enemy. Okay, that last thing is something she said to Sansa, but it's still a teaching moment of hers. If she had been a better mother and actually disciplined her son, maybe he wouldn't have been such a monster that people felt the need to kill him. And Marcella's death? All Cersei's fault. If Cersei hadn't blindly blamed her brother for her son's death, then Oberyn would never have died in combat, and Ellaria Sand would never have poisoned her daughter in retribution. But Cersei was blinded by the Valonqar prophecy, and therefore forged ahead blindly, like she always does, stacking the witnesses in Tyrion's trial, doing everything in her power to guarantee a false ruling, again, self-fulfilling. I do believe that the death of Tommen will be Cersei's fault due to her poor playing, but, I would elaborate more on this, but there's just so many possibilities, I have no idea which one to choose yet. Now, back to Sansa, because, guys, I'm telling you, Sansa is the queen who will bring Cersei down. She's been taught deception by Littlefinger, the people around her, and even Cersei herself. Plus, Cersei and her family are directly involved in her torture. Now, Sansa is not as simple as Cersei originally thought. She's very perceptive. The one reason why she survived King's Landing as long as she did. Now that Sansa's in the game, she's going to rally the North and come after the Lannisters. After she takes care of Ramsay, of course. I will have a video of Sansa later, and maybe you'll agree with what I have to say. But I want to get back to Cersei. To top Cersei's character, I will use a quote by Tyrion and Littlefinger, both of which are the most perceptive characters in the Game of Thrones. This is what he has to say about his older sister. The longer Cersei waits, the angrier she'll become, and anger makes her stupid. I much prefer angry and stupid to composed and cunning. This is how Tyrion beats Cersei at almost every turn during his time as Hand of the King. He knows exactly how to play her, to get her out of the way, to do what's right for the kingdom. Then, after he flees King's Landing and is asked about his sister, he has this to say. She never forgets a slight, real or imagined. She takes caution for cowardice and dissent for defiance. And she's greedy for power, for honor, for love. I believe this is a perfect dissection of Cersei's character. In her opinion, she is always right, and any voice of reason must die. In the books, Littlefinger's counsel Sansa on how to play the game, using Cersei as an example of a poor player. Sansa? Okay, back to the quote. Every man's a piece to start with, and every maid as well. Even some who think they are players. Cersei, for one. She thinks herself sly, but in truth she is utterly predictable. Her strength rests on her beauty, birth, and riches. Only the first is truly her own, and it will soon desert her. I pity her then. She wants power, but has no notion of what to do with it when she gets it. And then, you would not believe half of what's happening in King's Landing, sweetling. Cersei stumbles from one idiocy to the next, helped along by her council of the deaf, the dim, and the blind. I always anticipated she would beggar the realm and destroy herself, but I never expected she would do it quite so fast. It's quite vexing. I'd hoped to have 4 or 5 quiet years to plant some seeds and allow some fruit to ripen. But now, it's a good thing that I thrive on chaos. Heritage people, proof of what Littlefinger had originally garnered from Cersei's personality and intelligence. When Cersei received the power she had been playing for, she had no idea how to use it. Now, something that I disagree with from the show is they have not showed Cersei's physical change in the books. It shows what Littlefinger has said. She used her beauty and her body to get her way many times. In the books, that beauty begins to fade, and therefore so does her leverage. Now, Cersei will try everything in her power to gain back all leverage she had before, and she may just get some of that back. However, in my opinion, it's not going to last. The Lady of Lannister has lost all respect from those around her. I know Jaime is still holding out, but I believe he'll soon be back on his book arc, as soon as he hears what Cersei is charged for and has pled guilty to. She admitted to sleeping with Lancel outside of her marriage bed. This will not go well with Jaime, who's always been sexually faithful to his sister. He proudly admits this to Catelyn, saying that in his way he has more honor than Ned, due to the fact that unlike the Lord of Winterfell, he had never cheated on his lady love. Now, without Jaime's support, there will be no one left for her to lean on to try to outsmart characters like Kevin and Lady Olenna. And, as we're seeing in the episode so far, she's losing her hold on Tommen. Alright guys, that's all I have to say for now. Thanks for geeking out with me, and see you next time.